Hi folks, how you doing? It's James, JT at the movies, and we're back today for day 16 of my 30-day film challenge. Like I said at the end of yesterday's vlog, we're on the downward slope now, aren't we? Towards the final half of it. And I'm having a great time doing this. You know, it's been really nice to know that I'm gonna guarantee I'm watching a film every day, and I'm sort of getting to watch things that I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way to watch, sort of thing, just as a bit of casual viewing sort of thing. And really am enjoying the challenge, and I think is how I would probably reflect as we're halfway through. But anyway, we'll jump into today's video. So the category was really simple and really broad today, actually, as well. The category was to do a film that has a number in the title. And there were a number, pun intended, of films that I was thinking I could watch. Like 7, 1408, 3000 Miles to Graceland, 2001 A Space Odyssey, Sixth Sense, to name but a few. And there were literally dozens of them that I was sort of going through with Laura this breakfast time, and just sort of been like, well, what am I going to watch? What do you reckon? What about this? And Laura made the suggestion to revisit one of my old favourites, 12 Monkeys. And I absolutely just loved the suggestion, and thought, do you know what, that's the way we're going. So I watched 12 Monkeys. It's the 1995 film made by Terry Gilliam, starring Bruce Willis, Madeleine Stowe, Brad Pitt, Christopher Plummer, and Frank Gorshin. It's the story of a future world where the surface of the planet Earth is overrun by a deadly airborne virus that is, incredibly dangerous to human beings, who are having to remain indoors and remain underground and basically out of contact with other human beings. Does this sound familiar to anybody? Because it does to me. But yeah, they're having to sort of, hibernate and isolate. And in the future, they've developed time travel, and they've decoded this message about the army of the 12 Monkeys releasing this virus back in 1996. So they send the character of James Cole, played brilliantly by Bruce Willis, back in time. He originally gets sent back too far and ends up in 1990, and when he starts making his protestations of he's from the future and that there's going to be a deadly virus released, of course, he ends up in a mental hospital where he meets, I would say, probably this film's antagonist. Might be a bit strong to call him that, but he's certainly an antagonising character within it. But that is Jeffrey Goins, played by Brad Pitt, and they sort of form an uneasy alliance, and then the film sort of goes from there as we're introduced to the character of Dr. Rayleigh, played by Madeleine Stowe, and she, of course, thinks that Bruce Willis's character is mentally ill to start with, and then as the film progresses, she starts to realise that he's telling the truth and he is from the future, and this horrible thing is gonna happen. And I really love the quirky way in which Terry Gilliam's made this film. Anybody who's familiar with Terry Gilliam will obviously know that he's a masterful filmmaker, but also B, he's 1/6 of the Monty Python troupe. So he's got that sort of comedy and sort of quirky background there, and it lends itself really well to this sci-fi thriller. It's really quite jarring, some of the things that he does, and the theme of the film as well, the music that he's had signed off on, that's been composed for it. It's sort of like this little jig thing that's played on an accordion, and for the sort of film that you're watching, it just feels so out of place and just completely doesn't fit. But because it doesn't fit, it fits completely, if that makes sense. And I have a great time with this film whenever I watch it, and it's been a few years since I've watched it now. Me and Laura were going to watch this when we were having to isolate during the pandemic, but for obvious reasons, we felt it was a little bit on the nose, and decided not to watch it at the time. But when she suggested watching it for this, I thought, well, how can I not? This is a film that I would thoroughly recommend checking out to anybody that hasn't seen it, and I would thoroughly recommend giving it a rewatch like I've done if you have seen it and haven't watched it in a while. It holds up, it's well acted, it's well scripted, it's unique. Obviously, with it being a time travel movie as well, there's a lot of focus these days on like time travel paradoxes and things like that, and does it work, and does the science and the logic of it all work? And I think this has a really good handle on that, and sort of takes care of a lot of the paradoxes that sort of would and should show up. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, no time travel story is, but I think this does a good job of sort of understanding where it's coming from and where it's going to, in every sense of that phrase. But I, yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it and would thoroughly recommend either revisiting it or checking it out, depending on whether you've seen it or not before. It's just great fun, and still holds up incredibly well. There is this follow-on TV series. I think it might be a remake or a reboot rather than following on from the events of the film that I've not seen. But I must check that out because let's have such a great time with this. It would really only make sense, wouldn't it, to check it out? But I'm going to leave that there, folks. That's my my thoughts and my ramblings on 1995's 12 Monkeys. Really enjoyed it. Go check it out. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave it a thumbs up. And let me know your thoughts down below in the comments on the video and on the film 12 Monkeys as well. And any other films that you like that are like this. And what film would you have picked if you were picking a film with a number in the title? You have to let me know that as well in the comments. If you're new to the channel, please think about subscribing as well. I would love to keep you around for future videos, and it would help my channel to grow as well, which would mean a lot. Now, take care of yourselves, folks, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 17 of the challenge, and we'll go from there. Bye for now.